What's up, guys? Welcome back to PitchPassPod. I'm Brett.
Hey, it's me, Brando.
Week 9 is now in the books. We are officially halfway through the season, 9 out of 18 weeks. This week saw some definite ups and some definite downs. I feel like we're kind of getting to that point of consistency with some of these teams that we really haven't figured out where they belong all year, and some of these teams that have really questioned their identity all year. And we're seeing some teams that are really scrappy that definitely put up good fights, and we're seeing other teams that we really expected to be good, honestly being put down, not putting up any fight. Yeah. So without further ado, you want to just hop into the Thursday night game?
Yeah, let's go to the Thursday night game. Honestly, this is the worst this Eagles team has played.
Yes.
As a whole, which is still insane. They won by 12 points.
Yeah. I think a lot of people gave them more shit than they deserved. The Eagles do have a few injuries, but the depth that they have, it really makes up for it. So the thing that is really important for me to note is Dameon Pierce, to me, is like Marshawn 2. He is like a fucking bowling ball. And it's not in the sense of just like running dudes over, it's just like he refuses to
contact balance through the roof.
Yes, absolutely.
And so many of his yards he's getting after contact as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And he was having a great game. The Eagles are really missing their rookie Jordan Davis, their big 330-pound nose tackle.
Yeah.
You can see that ever since he went down, they have not been as good against the run. That's something they really need to clean up.
Absolutely, yeah.
But man, in the passing game, they're pretty damn good still.
Yes, and the thing is with the Eagles, they have so much depth at every position, they really can spread it around everywhere.
But then it also helps that you have two outside corners. They're playing top 10 in their position right now.
Absolutely, yeah. I think
James Bradbury's balling, and Darius Slay is a top 5 corner right now.
And then you have CJGJ in the backfield as well. That's really anchoring.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson just going off.
I think the thing that I liked out of this Eagles team, like I said, they were spreading it around really well. I like that Miles Sanders doubled Jalen Hurts carries this week. That's definitely a good thing. You don't want Hurts to get injured, especially not at this point in the season. So start relying on that running back core that you have, because Miles Sanders is pretty good.
Miles Sanders is a very good back. They do have some nice depth there.
Yeah.
Something that I was really impressed with, Dallas Goedert in this game, essentially being Jalen Hurts' number 1 target, had over 100 yards.
Yeah, I love Dallas. 8 receptions, 100 yards. Yep, and a touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell him and I get it. A lot of people talk about the chemistry that Jalen Hurts has with A.J. Brown, but you can see he trusts the fuck out of Dallas Goedert with some of those balls that he throws to him.
Absolutely, yeah. He's really the go-to guy that, like, if you need a tough yardage pass.
If you need a first down, you're going.
Yes, absolutely, no question. As for the Texans, I want to point out, like, 2 highlights. Their rookie corner played really, really well, and Peter in the backfield, Jalen Peter, Stingley and Peter as a tandem, really working on the same side of the field. They really, really worked well together.
Derek Stingley still has not given up a touchdown yet this season.
Yeah, and they did a really, really good job of limiting A.J. Brown. He only had 4 receptions for 59 yards. He did have a touchdown, but I don't really think it was the fault of either of them. A.J. Brown's kind of a physical monster, and it's bound to happen with the Eagles, dominating.
One of the most talented offenses in the league.
Yes.
Something that people need to give to Houston, there's not a whole lot of top-end talent with this team, but there's a lot of median depth.
Yeah.
There isn't like a bunch of scrubs that play in Houston. All these guys are legit NFL players that should be.
And it's even more impressive when you consider that Brandon Cooks was out for this game.
And they were still able to score a little bit.
When Davis Mills made that first, bomb down the field, well, I think the first one was to Dorsett. I was like, holy shit, dude.
Tony Dorsett came alive for the first time in his career.
For real?
And he's going to disappear the rest of the season now.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's how it works, but...
All the Colts fans know this.
Better once than never, I guess.
Better once than never.
And against one of the best defenses in the league. I'm impressed. I think the Texans were just really outclassed. Like, they have some great talent, but they're in the middle of a rebuild. So, I mean, even being this scrappy against the Eagles team, as long as, and I'm knocking on wood because I love him, as long as you can keep Pierce healthy, you have hope for the future. Is really what I have to say about this game.
And man, I love watching the Eagles when they do get in, like, fourth and short situations.
Mm-hmm.
All the crazy shit they do out of their quarterback sneak look.
Yeah.
It's something different. I love it.
Yeah, and Kelsey is a really reliable center, so if you do need that just traditional quarterback sneak, like, that's available. But like you pointed out, like, the way that they go to out routes, or the way that Hurts, if he sees that the middle is clogged, he is not afraid to just go around.
Yeah.
Just having a gifted mobile quarterback who's fearless, that's definitely awesome.
Then Jalen's strong, man.
Yes.
He's a strong dude, especially in his lower body.
Exactly, that's the point I was going to bring up.
Video from Oklahoma? Yeah.
Dude, he was on the Kelsey Brothers podcast. I believe it was today that it premiered. It might have been yesterday, but he was talking about how he goes in the weight room and he just fucks with, like, the offensive lineman or the defensive lineman because he's standing right next to him, squatting as much as they are, and they weigh like 100 pounds more than he does.
He's a strong dude, and
Absolutely.
also Jalen just has the right mentality.
Yes. Yeah.
Not only the city of Philly.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I said not only for the city of Philly, he matches that city's personality. He matches their energy.
Yeah, he seems like just a really good, well-liked guy around the organization. He strikes me as someone who's been there much longer than he has, and his leadership traits and intangibles are really the reason that team is doing as well as they are. Obviously, the depth is great. The offense and the defense are both great. Special teams is great. There's nothing that the Eagles do poorly, but any team can lose on any given week, and he's really kept them in every single game. You want to go on to
yeah, I mean, you summed that up perfectly. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Well, we sucked the Eagles' dick enough for this podcast.
Yeah.
Chargers Falcons.
Oh, I thought we were gonna go to bed. All right, my bad. I swapped a little early there. My fault.
Ooh, might be. I just wanted to get the Falcons out of the way before they. Marcus is holding his team back, and that's part of the reason why they lost this game. You're not going to beat an elite level quarterback by scoring 17.
No. Yeah, so it's kind of a difficult spot for me to be in right now, because I have Kyle Pitts in my dynasty league, and, like, separating my feelings completely from fantasy football to what would actually win you the game. I acknowledge that the Falcons are a very strong run team. I understand that. But when you're giving up large deficits, and right now, I mean, they haven't really been strong defensively. And it's not really the fault of their defensive line, because they have a decent defensive line. But their backfield, especially ever since A.J. Terrell's been out, it's just awful.
And he'll be out tonight against Carolina as well, which isn't going to help him. But
yeah. Well, tonight is going to be a unique case. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But in this game, I was honestly really, really surprised. Herbo didn't even throw for 250. I know a lot of his weapons are out, but Cordero Patterson scoring 2 touchdowns in his return game, that's great. I think Algier is going to see a very, very steep workload decrease. But I could be wrong. He could see a lot more of the open field work, and Cordero could be more incorporated in the passing game and goal line. But
I definitely think Patterson's needs to be used more in the passing game.
Yeah.
Something needs to get Marcus Mariota throwing the ball down.
Yes.
Something.
Yeah.
Because Kyle Pitts is getting open. Like you said,
yes.
I know we both have an interest in Kyle Pitts doing well, but fucking getting him the ball. And Drake London.
Yes.
They both had 7 targets, but Marcus could only hit both of them for 5 total passes.
Yeah, when you have receivers this talented, I understand you're a very run-heavy team. Like, that's your scheme. But you need to pass. You need to target these guys at least 10 times each over the course of the game. Kyle Pitts is getting open a lot.
I guess what I'm saying, it doesn't matter if they're getting the targets. fucking Marcus Mariota can't get the ball where it needs to be.
That is also true, but I mean, if you increase the amount of targets that they see, hopefully you can get at least a couple more to them.
But then at that point, we're losing some of the real life, like efficiency there. You're just getting incompletions. Incompletion's still a negative play for the offense.
Yeah. But,
so like we said, it's about finding the balance here.
Yeah.
And the balance is not having Marcus Mariota as your quarterback, but maybe that's just me.
Desmond Ridder starting when?
Yeah, fucking knows. Yes. How bad does he have to look?
Yeah.
Josh Palmer being the only Chargers receiver with a pulse had 100 yards.
Yeah, for real. No joke. Yeah, dude, Eckler had a quiet week. I think he'll kind of bounce back this week. I know he had that stomach thing going on, but the Chargers don't look right, and I know largely it's because they're injured. They're just banged up at pretty much every position, but I can't take them seriously right now. I know the Chiefs-Chargers game was close. It's incredibly impressive that Herbo never missed any time after the fractured ribs, but, like, something's just not right with the Chargers. Their receivers are always out.
It's their offensive scheme.
Yeah.
It's their offensive scheme, to be quite frank. Lombardi's trying to pigeonhole Justin Herbert into playing like how Drew Brees played.
Yeah.
Which he can do that. He's accurate. But you're just fucking neutering him, man, because his deep ball is beautiful.
Exactly what I was going to say. His accuracy on the deep ball is, I won't say unparalleled, but it's top 5.
I would say it's right up there with Allen and Mahomes.
Yes.
I think it's right up there with the top guys.
Well, I was also Rodgers still can throw a pretty good deep ball. I know he's regressed a lot this year, but it's top 5 for sure.
Oh, maybe it's just also how catchable the ball is when it arrives as well.
Yeah.
To where, like, you can tell his receivers aren't in, like, indefinite jump ball situations. It's floating down right into their fucking hands.
Yeah. That's very well placed.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
But I think the Chargers, like, they have to be thanking their lucky stars they have Justin Herbert, because he's what's saving them.
Absolutely, no question. Yeah. That team, and Eckler, it's a 2-man army on offense, and their defense is hit or miss.
Yeah, I mean, Khalil Mack is still having a nice season.
Khalil Mack definitely is, but with Bosa out and J.C. Jackson out.
Yeah. And J.C. was okay. I think it was almost an addition by subtraction because of how bad J.C. was playing.
Oh, I agree with that, but I mean, it's just kind of one of those things that it's like you get that star corner and you expect them to play really well, and it just doesn't.
Yeah, but he never did.
Yeah.
Derwin's playing well still this season.
Having a great season. Absolutely agree.
But let's keep going. What team do you want to cover next?
What game? Colts Patriots, and just get it out of the way.
Yeah, let's get Colts Patriots.
This was my Colts game of the week.
Yeah, we both said the Patriots were going to win this game, and it was true.
The Colts generated -2 yards of offense on the first quarter entirely. Yeah,
and
so, there's that.
So Mac Jones even said a quote. He's like, "We knew during film studying during the week we wouldn't have to do much offensively, and our defense could win this game."
Absolutely, yeah, no question on that for me. The Patriots offense really didn't do that much. They had some. I mean, they had what, like 250 total yards of offense, 300 somewhere around there. It wasn't a lot.
Ramondre Stevens had 60 yards rushing on 15 carries. Yeah. Mac Jones had 147 yards.
But he did have a touchdown. Ramondre did.
Yeah, to Ramondre Stevens.
So I mean,
I feel like Ramondre is their whole offense at this point.
I agree, and I'm very glad I have him in Dynasty.
Yeah. This game was just a nail in the coffin for Frank Reich.
Yeah. No question.
The Colts, efficiency-wise, offensively, is the worst team in the NFL. Per basis. Like, it was that bad.
And if for some reason you've been living under a rock, Jeff Saturday is now the interim head coach of the Indianapolis Colts.
Yep, Hall of Fame center.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that anything he will do could be worse than what they've had going on. Uh, I
I'm not going to bash Frank Reich because I don't think he's a terrible head coach. That roster had a lot of deficiencies to it, and
for
still
sure.
does.
Yeah, but
Um,
just
I
as a
think he's going to end
whole,
up on someone's staff.
I
He's going to
don't
end up on
think.
someone's
Sorry, he's going to end up what?
He's going to end up on someone's staff
Oh,
next season.
for sure.
He's going to be a
sure.
quarterback coach, some kind of offensive coach,
Yeah, I agree with
and he's going to be fine. A lot of people forget Frank Reich was the quarterback for the Bills
Mhm.
when they orchestrated the biggest comeback in NFL history.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, he was Jim Kelly's backup for years.
Huh. The more you know.
Doop, doop, doop. That's why I think he's still going to make hay as a quarterback coach. What you were saying, though, I think Jeff Saturday isn't going to do a terrible job.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of two things are going to happen.
What's up?
Either they're going to have a decent record with him as their coach, and he's going to come back and coach them next year, or they're going to just continue to be a shit show.
Yeah.
And Jeff Saturday just ends up becoming the GM of that team, and they hire a new head coach.
That is the more probable outcome. But if you do consider, I mean, let's do this realistically. We're halfway through the season right now. They're 3-5-1. Jonathan Taylor is just a husk at this point in time. He is not playing well.
Oh, I mean, hasn't really played. He's been hurt.
Well,
I mean, he hasn't played the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that he played poorly just because he's been hurt and he hasn't played.
During the beginning of this year, he definitely was not playing well. He definitely still is. I think he's averaging on the season 5.5 yards per attempt, something like that. Somebody told me something along those lines. But
I want to see Jonathan Taylor play this weekend before I make a real judgment on him.
Yeah.
Because this has been the first full week of practice he's had in like 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
And they are playing against Vegas, who is also a husk of an NFL team.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I have one last note on this game, and then we can get to. Well, I guess it's more so on. It's not on the game. It's on the team. The Colts really, whether or not Jeff Saturday does a great job, I think that he'll do a great job of inspiring the team and kind of drawing on some of the strong spots and some of the potential on the team, because he has been in a lot of really great locker rooms and been around a lot of Hall of Famers. And if there's one guy who's seen how to prepare at multiple positions in multiple areas, it's definitely him. So I think he'll find a way to have some success. I'm not saying that they're going to end with a positive record, because
I don't think they can. Can they?
No.
They would have to pretty much win it.
Yeah, you'd have to win 3 more games than you lose in the last. Yeah, so you'd have to go 6-3 from this point.
Which, no, I don't think they have 9 games left.
No. Yeah.
So they pretty much need to go.
You need to go 6-2 to go even. Yeah, it's because they had the tie as well. Yeah, it's just bad.
Yeah. And then they would end up 9-7-1.
Yeah,
that's if they go 6-2 over the next of their stretch. Which,
that would be great.
Probably not, but hey, we've seen Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. You said the line.
I said a TV show.
Do you want to hop over to that Raiders game?
Yeah, we can go to the Raiders game.
All right.
I love how many people I saw writing off Trevor Lawrence last week.
Yeah.
Why I watched him lead this comeback this week.
Yeah, I want to start out by saying someone offered me probably the most ass trade in the history of ass trades I've ever seen in my Dynasty League this week. I was offered Christian Kirk for T. Higgins. No, thank you. But on another note, yeah, I agree with you. I was kind of harsh on Trevor Lawrence. I've been really questioning whether it was him or his supporting cast. I know his supporting cast has really struggled, but I don't think this game should have been this close, because I feel like Jacksonville is just so much of a better team than Houston, or than Vegas Raiders. Thank you. But Yeah, Travis Etienne went ballistic. Trevor Lawrence, 235, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Derek Carr did throw for 2 touchdowns. It was definitely a closer game than I thought it would be. Devontae went nuts. 10 receptions, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. Um, and yeah, you're right. Jacksonville coming back in the third and fourth quarter. It was like when they hit that halfway point and they were down 10, they were like, all right, we have to.
We gotta start making this work.
Yeah.
Like you said, Travis Etienne had a pretty nice game, but I like that they started using Trevor Lawrence more in the running game as well this week.
Yeah.
And he started using his legs a little bit more, especially on that 24-yard run.
Yeah, he had like 9 yard per attempt average or something like that. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, a little under 9, but just played really well. And if there's a quarterback that can make the jump that Josh Allen did in production from his first 2 years in the league, I think it's Trevor Lawrence. I could still see this kid's ceiling being sky high.
Get this man a receiver, ASAP.
Or just a number one.
Yeah.
Just a number one receiver. I think Christian Kirk is perfectly fine as a number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Evan Ingram's fine as a complimentary piece. Same with Zay Jones.
Yeah.
Marvin Jones Jr. needs to go after this year. He's just a salary cap.
No question. Yeah.
Casualty. Like he's all right, but
not
what you're paying compared to the production is not great.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100% agree.
The Raiders are also just a shit show.
Yeah.
Josh McDaniels looks over his head, and Blake Martinez, who led them in tackles on Sunday,
retired.
Played 91%. Yeah, he retired fucking today.
Yeah.
So that tells you how much of a shit show his franchise is. Jonathan Abram was cut after this game.
Yeah.
He got signed by the Packers last night. This team is an absolute shit show. It's a mess.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's going to fix it.
They're hoping the draft will next year. And the Raiders in first round draft picks, if you don't know how that's gone in the past several years, why don't you look up Raiders first round draft picks? What?
The next pick after they draft is usually a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
In the first round.
Literally, yeah.
Like the Jamarcus Russell draft, I'm pretty sure Calvin went next. There was a draft where they also busted. Aaron Rodgers was the next pick, and they picked one. They also picked someone instead of Larry Fitzgerald too.
Yeah, the Raiders are not a good franchise, but maybe eventually they'll learn from their mistakes, but not right now.
I will say this about the Raiders: we would not have the slot receiver position without the Raiders. Al Davis, when he was a coach before he was an owner, was the original coach in the NFL who brought in a third receiver to play the slot.
Interesting.
And they used to have that slot receiver just blow the fucking doors off of coverage as a deep threat.
Learning new things tonight. I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't know me super well, or maybe this is your first time listening to our pod, I love the history of football, so I really like seeing how much the game has progressed over the years since they used to get those leather-ass helmets that didn't do anything for you.
For real. The skull caps, yeah.
Skull caps and the neck rolls back in the day. No one wears a neck roll anymore.
No.
Speaking of a team that probably helped make the neck roll famous, Chicago Bears, Miami Dolphins. The Bears have actually been scoring a lot of points lately. Their offense doesn't look dead in the water anymore because they adjusted their offense to actually favor what Justin Fields does well.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of use that as a transitioning point here as well. The Dolphins did manage to pull out this win.
Yes.
We'll talk about that part a little bit after. I feel like this was the Justin Fields breakout game. Justin Fields went for over 300 yards combined. He had 4 touchdowns in this game.
Yeah, and he also broke the regular season rushing yards record for a quarterback with 178.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. And he did it on 15 carries. Like, Dude, that's just
He
crazy.
had a longest 61 at one point.
I
He
oh I
broke off
know.
61-yarder on him.
Yeah, he broke off to the left. He broke like 3 tackles. It was just a fantastic play. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. It was great. Um,
Um,
Bringing Chase Claypool
Miami,
in
yeah,
really helped take some of the coverage off Darnell Mooney, and he definitely had a good game. 7 receptions,
yeah,
43 yards, 1 touchdown. Like, the yardage isn't as productive as you'd hope, but he got a touchdown. He found the end zone.
yeah. It helped Cole Kmet too because it helped
Oh
open up
yeah,
some of the middle pool too.
yeah. He got 2 touchdowns this game. That's crazy.
I'm interested to see what Chicago ends up doing in the first round of this draft.
Same.
Seeing, yeah, because do you go like depends where they finish? Do you
For
go
real.
wide receiver? Do you go tackle? There's a couple of different areas they can go in to really improve this team.
Well, I don't think they're going quarterback, and I know that was a question at some point in time, but yeah.
They shouldn't go quarterback anymore. Like I think this should have been enough to kind of this season should be enough to show you like, hey, Justin Fields can still produce and have us be competitive in
Definitely.
games even when his supporting cast is lacking.
Definitely. Yeah, they really need some offensive line help. I don't know if you want to like try to trade the pick to a team for future capital in like a year that you're looking for something. I don't know how many great receivers there are coming out of this class. I've only heard good things about a couple of receivers coming out of this class, but you never know.
It is a talented receiver class, but I'm going to say this straight up. I don't think this draft class is really going to be that great as a whole.
Okay.
I much prefer next year's class.
Yeah.
What this draft class has in spades is running backs,
Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson, Gribbs from Alabama, Deuce Vaughn from Kansas State.
Yeah.
Bunch of really good backs coming out this year. But yeah, Dolphins did a great job. Tua had a pretty good game.
Absolutely.
300 yards, 3 TDs.
Yep. Tyreek
No
Hill
pick, sack.
averaging over 20 yards per reception, dude. That's nuts. Yeah, the Tyreek Hill Jalen Waddle tandem
is very good.
It's unreal. Tyreek is also going to have a career year, which is insane to say. But I think the people I was critical of Tua before the season. If you remember, if you don't, I will freely admit I was very critical of Tua because I didn't think that he had that arm strength. But it really looks like he's worked on some of that arm strength, and he's always had the accuracy to find Hill and Waddle.
It's funny you phrase it that way because, like, now at this point in the year, you're higher on Tua than I am.
Absolutely, no question.
Before the season started, I felt like I was one of the few people beating the drum for him.
Yeah, I think that's probably an accurate representation. I definitely was harder on Tua. In none of my fantasy leagues did I draft Tyreek or Jalen, even though I know they're exceptionally talented. I just didn't think they would get enough opportunities. I thought that the Dolphins would be a more run-heavy team this year. So I was a little bit surprised. I didn't think that they would see the deep field opportunities as much. So definitely have to give credit to the Dolphins organization. Their defense is playing pretty damn well. Their offense is just machine. And that's kind of the transition point that I wanted to talk about of the AFC East and how it's really up for grabs right now.
Yeah, especially with Josh Allen's elbow injury he had against the Jets.
Yes, and that's where we're going to go with the next game. That's
yep. Jets defense played really well in this game.
Yes,
did a really good job of confusing Josh Allen.
Yes, I have been not even high, dude. I have been sky high, soaring, smoking, whatever the Jets are putting out, and I am here for it. I have been so high on the Jets all year. Pretty much every week, if not every other week, I've been picking them as my upset pick. I'm kind of sad I didn't this week, but let's be honest, I don't really think anybody expected them to beat the Bills, but I'm very happy that they did.
Yeah, they pulled off the 20-17 win against Buffalo. It's really fun when Buffalo loses because they haven't been blown out at any point this year.
No.
It's always been like a one possession game, pretty much.
Definitely.
They did a great job forcing Josh Allen to commit turnovers in the red zone.
Yes, absolutely.
That ultimately was the biggest like upset in this game was the 2 red zone interceptions.
And Stephon Diggs under 100 yards this game. That's another key thing because he's been really, really just tearing up defenses. They've been force feeding him, and he's just been getting free. And they have some guys on that team. Like it's not just Diggs that's usually getting it. Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox, Isaiah McKenzie, all of those dudes have been getting involved. But usually Stephon's over 100, and this game they just held him to 5 receptions. So
5 receptions. The yardage mark, he's still got 93 yards from that standpoint, and still pretty good. But the 10 targets, 5 receptions, that is a good indicator of how they were guarding him and playing against him.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I'm still not sold on the Jets as a whole. I think they're a great defensive team. Their offense is a liability once we start getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. Did you know, fun fact, I actually heard this today, Jordan Whitehead on the Jets defense is actually cousins with Darrelle Revis?
That I did not know that.
Yeah.
It's funny because he got a pick on Josh Allen on Sunday.
Yeah.
Where Josh Allen literally lost sight of Jordan Whitehead because the defensive lineman was in between them.
Yeah. It's
just the object of permanence was just gone.
Yeah.
Where'd he go then, Josh? Where'd he go?
It's really interesting looking at this division because before the season we were both talking about how the Patriots could very well be the best or the worst team in this division, and considering they're all similar records, if not same.
Pretty much and it's pretty much an open race, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Like with the Josh Allen injury, the Dolphins could win it. The Jets could win it. The Patriots could still pull up some games and win it as well. Like it's still very open.
I still think the Finns, if Josh Allen has to miss. So if you haven't heard the Josh Allen news as well, he has a UCL injury, which is an ulnar collateral ligament injury. Initially, they thought it was a tear and he would miss a minimum of 4 weeks. Now they're reporting that it was a strain or sprain, so there's no actual physical tear. But he's on a day-to-day basis. He really wants to play this weekend, but as far as I can tell, he's already been initially reported out. I don't think he should play.
It's also his throwing shoulder, so why risk it?
Exactly. Yeah, especially with the guy that you want to be the face of your franchise going forward. Yeah, I wouldn't risk it at all. This game specifically, the 2 notes are. Jets defense played out of their minds, and Zach Wilson didn't fuck the team. He didn't make the horrible big mistakes. It's the Daniel Jones effect. It's the quarterback not getting in the team's way, and that was enough to win.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Zach Wilson only having 1 turnover.
Well, yeah, it was a fumble. It wasn't an interception, right?
Yeah, he had a lost fumble, but still only had less than 200 yards, which if you want Jimmy Garoppolo in a Backstreet Boy persona, then go ahead.
Milf Hunter, Garoppolo.
Yeah, Mormon Manziel.
Well, the other thing that I do want to say, they didn't have a huge offensive day, but they did spread it around pretty well in terms of the run game. Michael Carter and James Robinson saw the majority of it, but Zach had a few runs. It was pretty well spread. The pass game was not well spread. Garrett Wilson saw the Kings' share of everything. And
I know Elijah Moore didn't.
Yeah, Elijah Moore, rip.
Elijah Moore still just doesn't know if he's on the team or not, just chilling.
Yeah. And you know what? That's still enough to win him this week, so that's fine.
Well, let's go to another game that was decided by red zone turnovers. Green Bay, Detroit.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this one.
Oh, it's fine. We lost this game. Here's my opinion on it. Detroit did not win this game.
No.
We lost the game. We threw it away.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers, all 3 of those picks in the red zone on goal-to-go situations, I believe.
Yeah.
Just absolute dog shit.
The only one that you could argue wasn't directly his fault was the one off the helmet. He way underthrew
Lazard.
Well, yeah, he underthrew Lazard, but the one to the lineman, was it Bakhtiari? No. Um, I don't remember. The pass that he made when he kind of rolled and threw out to the left, and it was like 5 yards underthrown. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
It's okay. Regardless, it still was not a great game for Green Bay.
No.
Our defense still played pretty well, only allowing 15 points.
Yes, I agree with that.
If Rodgers just doesn't throw and one of those interceptions and throws a touchdown instead, we won this game.
Yes, I agree. Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
And it doesn't matter how many yards you put up if you can't turn that into points, and that's the part that really, really hurt you guys, and especially the red zone picks. Like, you have Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, use them.
Yeah,
they had a combined 20 carries in this game. 20.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers had more pass attempts than they had rush attempts between those two. Entiendo, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they had one or two more rush attempts than pass attempts, but you need to utilize those backs. Like,
I mean, Aaron Rodgers was our leading rusher in that game for 40 yards.
Know. Isn't that crazy? That's awful.
Yeah, and yeah, that's all I can really say about this game is that we've lost this game, and it was on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers and this offense as a whole. Like, the only member of this offense who I'm not going to really blame for too much, Alan Lazard has been having a pretty nice season.
Agreed.
But outside of him, he needs more help.
Yeah. I mean, I will say something about Detroit. Their defense didn't... I'm not going to say, like, they played really well, but they did enough to win the game for sure.
They did. That's the thing. They saw the opportunities and capitalized on it.
And the other thing is, Detroit in the passing game, they're really going to miss Hawk. ARSB, Amon-Ra St. Brown, he is definitely going to miss having, anyone else that can draw coverage because he has been pretty fucking quiet. Oh. He recorded 4 receptions in this game. I know the Packers secondary is great, but
Jameson Williamson should be playing soon.
Soon. I think probably week 11 or 12, I would guess, but I don't know. That's a good question, actually. Let's see. Return.
He's looking to debut in December.
Week 13. Okay, I was close.
Yeah.
But,
so it'll be interesting to see how he plays in this offense.
Same.
Honestly, if he's not going to be playing until that late in the year, and let's be real, Jared Goff probably isn't going to be his quarterback next year.
No.
Why do you even put him out there,
Get him some snaps. I mean, I don't know. I would feel you don't want him getting injured again, so definitely don't rush it back. But, like, yeah, I mean, just play him in, like, week 17 or something when nobody cares anyway, I guess. I don't know.
I'd rather just shut him down. Just shut him down. Just have him work on rehab and stuff like that until next season when it's going to matter again.
That's such a valid answer, but it's the Lions organization. You never know.
Yeah. Lions live for garbage time.
You want to speak of garbage time? Let's talk about Commanders. Dan Snyder being forced to... he's being investigated right now, but the initial reports are...
It's not even investigating anymore. They're being sued now.
Yeah, but it's like they're gonna force him to sell the team. It's not like officially official, but it's like it's coming.
Yeah, but there's so many people in the crossfires with this. There's also the NFL as a whole. Roger Goodell is also a part of this lawsuit. Like it's
gonna get
pretty
messy. Yeah. I mean, it's already messy, but, like, the details are coming out, and now it's getting really messy.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson had a receiving touchdown this game. That's awesome. That's great to see.
And, this Commanders team is scrappy, and they were better off with Taylor Heineke as quarterback. That's my hot take.
Completely
than Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I can tell you that the Commanders miss Jahan Dotson. I don't know. Their offense is just a mess. There's nothing that I can really say. I don't have any positives from the Commanders.
Just because they're better off with Taylor Heineke compared to Carson Wentz does not mean many great things.
No.
They're still not going to score very much. They're very much a defensive team.
Yes.
And That's all it is. The Vikings are a much more complete team than they are, and that's why the Vikings are 7-1.
And that's why it was shocking that it was this close. I will say the Commanders' defense played better this game, but the Commanders just need to stop. I don't know. They don't have an identity. Is the problem? Like they have some really talented receivers, and they have like a tandem of talented running backs, but they're not utilizing their most talented players effectively.
I'm gonna wait and see how Robinson plays next year before I give any kind of judgment call on him.
Mm-hmm.
It could be because he was shot during the offseason. I have not been impressed by him. Outside of the raw fact of coming back after being shot.
Okay. Are you impressed by anyone on this team other than Terry McLaurin? Are you impressed with anyone on this team? And Terry McLaurin hasn't even had a great year. But
am I allowed to pick players on the defense, or am I strictly
hamstrung off? I was leading more towards offense, but
Jonathan Allen's been having a really season at defensive tackle. Deron Payne has also had a really nice season. Josh Sweat, they're like three of their big defensive linemen have had pretty nice years. Yeah, Montez Sweat. I probably said someone else.
No, you said Josh. You're good.
Yeah, Montez. Yes, Montez Sweat has had a good year. Benjamin St. Juste hasn't been terrible for a rookie outside corner.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's the first time in my life I've ever heard that name, but I'll trust you on that one.
Boy.
Yeah. I don't watch a lot of Commanders games. I'm gonna be honest.
Understandable.
And when I do, the majority of the time, I'm just watching Terry McLaurin. Like, catch at least 5 passes, please. So
I will also say, when he actually gets touches, Antonio Gibson has actually been pretty decent.
Agreed. Yeah.
But that's the problem. They don't want to give him any carries.
No, the Commanders are scuffed all around. They're just poorly run, poorly managed, poverty franchise.
It's nice to see Curtis Samuel's actually had a decent year.
Yeah, I traded him away pretty early in fantasy because he was being so productive. I thought I could get a good return for him. I got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I thought that was a good trade. Starting to rethink things.
Starting to rethink things.
Yeah.
Let's see, what game? Speaking of rethinking things, Panthers always rethinking their quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Baker stunk it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I was going to go the exact opposite end as one of our goods of the week. The Bengals, man. Joe Mixon, 4 touchdowns on the ground, 1 touchdown receiving. Joe Mixon was the offense.
Yeah, he had a great game against the Panthers. They couldn't stop him. And honestly, that's what they wanted to do in this game, is just run the ball, pound the rock, control game and time of possession, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
And that's why they doubled the Panthers' points.
Yeah. The Panthers are not good. You know, it doesn't... Whoever you have...
P.J. Walker should just be their starting quarterback the rest of the way.
Yeah, if they want to tank, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Oh, if they want to tank, they might as well just stick with Baker then. I'm saying P.J. Walker at least gives them a chance to see what they have on the roster.
Yeah.
Baker, you're full tank.
Honestly, I don't think it I don't think it matters.
I don't know. He almost beat the Falcons for them.
Yeah, but he looked terrible here. I know Bengals.
He also had he only had 10 attempts.
Yeah, and 2 interceptions on 10 attempts.
Once the game was already decided.
Yeah, well, the game was.
It's pretty hard to throw the ball when there's already a talent deficiency, and the defense knows you're going to be throwing the ball.
Well, let me go back to the positive of Joe Mixon almost set a fantasy record with this game. I think in non-PPR he had 55.1 points, which is second to Jamal Charles in 2013. Yeah.
I really enjoyed watching Joe Mixon do this in this game. I don't have any fantasy teams, but it was really fun to watch.
This was a dismantling. It is the nicest way I can say it. Joe Mixon disassembled the Panthers defense. After further consideration, I mean, you're probably right. PJ Walker's been consistently what he is. Baker Mayfield, I just don't. I don't like any of the three quarterbacks. I guess I like.
Okay.
I guess I dislike PJ the least.
If you had to pick 1 to 3, who you're picking?
Not Sam.
Sam's who I'm picking.
I don't know.
Sam has also played the least out of the 3 this year because he's been hurt.
Can we just go with like a Falcon strategy where we just run the fucking ball instead of throwing it all?
They try and they still lose. I mean, here's the shit show.
Yeah, I don't know. I said a couple weeks ago PJ's better than Baker, but it was kind of a joke. I don't really know.
Oh, I stand by it. PJ is better than Baker. Okay, if I had to arrange the quarterbacks on roster, Sam Darnold, PJ Walker, Baker Mayfield.
So Sam has both the highest ceiling and lowest floor to me.
Okay.
Baker is going to be the most consistently mid, and then PJ will give you like probably better upside than Baker out of like the majority of games of the year. Baker has one game a year where he does really well, and the other games he just shits himself or plays incredibly mediocre. That's a really tough question. I'd have to sit down and look at statistics, but I think for me, I agree with you. Sam probably gives you the best chance of winning games, but he also gives you the highest chance of completely fudging it. I think if you want like a consistent answer, I don't think any of them should be more than backup quarterbacks this year. And I think PJ is probably the most reliable out of the 3.
Yeah. He's also been there the longest out of the 3.
Yeah.
So let's go to our next disappointing game. Maybe not disappointing if you're a Seahawks fan. Seahawks Cardinals. Yeah. Seahawks ended up winning this game 31-21. And this goes along with a point that I've been making for a long time now. Cliff Kingsbury is holding back this roster.
No question, yeah.
With his play calling. And we're just going to keep seeing it. Kyler's the one that's going to be blamed for it over and over again.
Yeah. There's a couple dimensions to look at in this game. Geno is playing really, really well. Again, it's just the error minimalization. Here's my question for you. I guess I'll get this out of the way now. Do you think Geno is the comeback player of the year?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I completely agree.
I don't think it's particularly close.
No, I feel the same way. NFL Twitter has some discussion, and it's not too civil either. But yeah, I think Geno definitely deserves it. I think the Seahawks could actually ride the Geno wave for a couple of years if they draft and try to develop a quarterback behind him. Geno's not a bad option because he's not going to be very risk-prone. He's going to be a very smart, efficient quarterback for you.
And isn't like Geno Smith is ancient?
No, he's what, like 34, 36?
He's 32.
Really? Okay.
He's only 32, man. Like, it's not very old.
At least 34. That's good, though. That's good.
Man, you're making me feel old. I watched him in college.
The other thing, Kenneth Walker on this team, man. Kenneth Walker is
really
nuts.
He does a really good job of getting positive yardage with every carry.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like his long in this game was only 15 yards, but he averaged 4.2 yards a carry.
Trucking it. Yeah.
He was a part of being able to control the offense, keep time of possession. I think that's why the Seahawks team has been playing so well. They know how to control the ball. They know how to keep possession for long stints of time.
Yeah.
And really make every offensive possession for the opposition that much more important.
If you
also,
sorry, what?
I would say Bruce Irvin got a sack in his first game back with the Seahawks as well.
Nice. That's cool. That's good to
good
to hear. So the Seahawks, I guess 3 things. 1, Seahawks have definitely won the Russ trade. That's no question.
Yes.
Pete Carroll is a much smarter head coach than people give him credit for.
Also, just the organization that Seattle runs as a whole
Yeah.
is absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
I don't think there's many. I don't think there's many organizations that ran better than Seattle
I don't
for
know if they're
such a
at
long
it.
stint of time as well.
It might be. I think the only arguments that you could really make would be like Patriots, uh, Philly.
Right, Eagle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
Patriots,
it.
Philly.
And maybe the Chiefs, but that would be like the only other argument I could think of.
Maybe Buffalo. I think Buffalo's pretty well run. Brandon Beane is a great GM.
The only reason I don't. Buffalo just suffered from being in the same division as the Patriots. That's it.
Okay, the brain trust of Brandon Beane and McDermott, when they got over there, that's when things changed.
Agreed. Completely agreed.
I also like what Deontay Lee said about Pete Carroll and the Seahawks.
What's up?
He said the Seahawks really might have had an all-time drafts in 2 separate decades.
Absolutely.
Pete is really a docile ghoul of levels of internal.
Dude.
It's just
no joke. They have what, 7 or 8 rookies starting right now, and not just starting but playing well. Like,
yeah,
definitely. When you look at this team right now, Tariq Woolen is playing insanely well.
he's this. Okay, I'm also gonna say this. This rookie class of corners really fucking good.
Incredibly impressive. Yeah, for all of them to be able to transition from college to the NFL and be as productive as they are, it's insane.
And corners tough. Corners physically tough.
The hardest position in the NFL.
Probably outside of quarterback.
Yeah.
I still think quarterback mentally is the only reason I'm going to have an edge. Physically, pure physics of doing your job,
yes,
I agree. Corner is a fun thing about being a corner. It's one of the few positions in football where there's a good portion of plays where you start by going back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is interesting to think about. Even the offensive linemen, a lot of people thinking like pass blocking sets, they're not initially starting backward. They're firing out going forward still.
Yeah, for sure.
And
a lot of these dudes are still keeping up too. That's the crazy part.
Yeah. Like something that I think has made Pete really special with like younger players has to go back to his time at USC. He's just been so good with getting production out of young players and knowing how to talk to them, knowing how to motivate them.
Yeah.
Which is funny because he's one of the oldest coaches in the league, but I think he understands Gen Zs. It's funny.
Well, the Seahawks are looking like they're going to win the division right now, which is something for sure.
Their only competition is San Fran at this point.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be really interested to see how these wild cards pan out too, because right now it's really looking like 2 are coming out of the NFC East and then the 49ers. That's really what it's looking like.
It's 3. Like there could be 3 teams coming out of the NFC East.
Yeah.
As a whole.
Yeah.
Like even Dallas, probably the Giants too.
Probably, yeah.
The Giants' schedule is still pretty easy the rest of the way.
Yeah, it definitely is. And Saquon's healthy, knocking on wood.
Yeah, and it looks like maybe we can go to the next game now. It looks like maybe Tampa Bay eliminated the Rams from the playoffs. I think they're dead in the water now.
Definitely agree. Yeah, the Rams' offensive line issues are a real issue, and Stafford is playing particularly poorly. Surprisingly, he didn't have a pick in this game, but man, it was just not good. They're unable to produce on offense in any relative capacity. Cooper Kupp is their offense. They have no run game. How Allen Robinson did get integrated into the passing game has completely dissolved. It's just not going well.
My hot take for Allen Robinson is he's never been that good.
Yeah, I don't think he's been like great, but like I didn't expect him to be this. I'm not even gonna blame him here. I'm just gonna say it's been unproductive, which I didn't expect.
I'll say some things. My hot take on Allen Robinson is he's a garbage time merchant.
That's probably a very fair assessment.
yards when his team's already out of the fucking game, and you're passing constantly. Because you need someone to come out down possession catches at that point. That's why he looked so good those years in Jacksonville. But I digress. Cooper Kupp still fantastic.
Yes.
Top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. This defense is not good enough.
No.
Rush wise, to be able to overcome how bad they are offensively.
I will say Bobby Wagner had a decent game, but other than that, I was pretty disappointed.
Bobby Wagner has been great for them this year.
He
That
really
signing has been great. He seems rejuvenated on the Rams. Honestly, didn't he block a field goal in this game? If I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure on that.
I think he did. Like he jumped. Right. I remember the play. He jumped over the center and just blocked it. Well, long snapper, not the center.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't see that. I don't know. I remember I wasn't home for part of this game, so.
I was drunk, so I was enjoying it.
On the Bucs side, though, I do want to say the one thing that I pointed this out before the season. You can go back and listen to our draft analysis, pre-draft even. I was high on Cade Otton. I said I think that this kid's going to kind of turn out. And a couple weeks ago, I said I think Cade Otton had a breakout game. And I wasn't right then, and I dropped him on all of my fantasy teams then because I stopped believing in myself. But this week, 5 receptions, 68 yards, and a touchdown. That was awesome.
Yeah, and Tom Brady led them on a game-winning drive to win this game.
Yeah,
it was very Brady-esque.
It certainly was.
So, outlooks for both these teams going forward. I don't think the Rams are going to make the playoffs.
No.
The Bucs are very fortunate to be in the division they are, to where they still very much alive to win their division.
Yeah, and before we don't get a lot of comments, but I don't want to see any Brady's undefeated since his divorce comments. Like, just I don't know, man.
He is undefeated since his divorce.
I know it's true, but it's just like, you know, it's already like a public thing. I can't imagine how hard it is on both of them. The one thing I will point out is they're both fucking stupid. What?
What if it's a relief for Brady?
Dude, it might be, but you know it isn't. Is investing all that money in fucking crypto to lose it, dumbass.
Okay, I don't necessarily blame him for investing in crypto. What FTX did should be illegal.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming the people that have invested in crypto. I blame us as a whole for there not being sanctions and guidelines with crypto beforehand, before it got this big.
Well, wasn't that the one that he was like sponsored by and endorsed by though?
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And the CEO just, I don't know, just fucked everyone. I don't have any money in any crypto because that's not really my thing.
Same.
But I do feel bad for a lot of people that lost everything because of this.
That I agree with.
Because it was fucked.
Yeah.
And the way crypto seems right now to me is very similar to the early days of the stock market, because before regulations came in, you see a bunch of people pump and dumping. You see people taking advantage. It's coming. It needs to be, because there's too many people that are losing too much money over it for sanctions to not happen.
It's just a matter of time. I'm guessing it's a matter of time. You never know. Yeah. Crypto is kind of one of those weird, like, I don't know. Yeah. Crypto's another one of those, like, NFT things where it's like there's some weird, like...
Oh, fuck NFTs. I want no part.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, with some of it, it's just, like, money laundering and shit. And there's some, like, subliminal agenda with some of it. But, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Speaking of games that are things that are hard to understand, this Chiefs-Titans game.
No, this one wasn't hard to understand for me, and I'll be the first to put the Chiefs on blast. The only thing that I'll say is Pat, when we're struggling, has a tendency to find ways to make. Well, I was going to say he finds routes to scramble in an open field and get the yardage that we need, but we should have lost this game by every right. I will say the Titans did get away with some holding in this game, but we should not have won this game. We definitely got away with some of this stuff. Like the play where Trav was getting held, right, but he ripped the guy's helmet off. Like there were some things that we should not have gotten away with in this game. I feel like that happens to every team in every game. I know there's some public narrative about, oh well, the Chiefs are the NFL's favorite, whatever. I get it, and like yeah, we were definitely helped out by some of the calls here, but we barely managed to squeak by. I think people should be more focused on that, with how Malik Willis attempted 16 passes. Derrick Henry is still a monster, 115 yards on us.
I like the way they ran the ball though with Willis in the game.
Yeah.
Where they made Willis a legitimate threat to run the ball to try to gain more space for Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and I think that was his like preseason and even pre-draft like criticism is he didn't stick it out in the pocket. He would just dip and run when his options weren't available. I remember hearing a lot of critique on him for that. But it's a legitimate, valid play style.
Yeah, you know, I understand Willis's criticism. Like he's not a great passer, but some of it has to also be on these Titans wide receivers.
Yes, for sure.
So many drops he had this game, and just this whole receiving core. If you add up all their numbers, they still aren't as good as AJ Brown as a single person.
Nope, not even close.
So I don't think he played awful, but I don't think Malik Willis is also gonna be that elite level quarterback when he's done being developed. That will push a roster to be better than what it is.
I agree.
But I can see him being good with a loaded team around him.
Yeah. He's not higher than a B tier quarterback, but he has the ceiling of like a B tier quarterback.
But like you said, Travis Kelce took over in this game. Juju Smith-Schuster is looking like he wants an extension.
Yeah, we're definitely re-signing Juju. I will be objective about this game. I've been trying to be much more objective. The Titans' defense, and I will say specifically, the Titans' defensive line and their safeties played incredibly well this game. The Titans' corners didn't play as well as I thought they would. We took advantage of that, obviously, as you can see, by 450 passing yards out of Pat. Travis Kelce, they did a really, really great job of making sure he didn't, gouge them, and making sure, like, Mecole and Juju didn't gouge them too bad. But, holding us to 20 points is a feat. They really, really got after Pat in this game. I think this was the second most he's ever been sacked in his career. It was very concerning to me because there are some very, very good run teams in the game. And I understand Derrick Henry is one of one. There's no question in my mind that there's no player like Derrick Henry currently in the league. There's some great running backs. There's some great, very physical backs that can definitely run all over you, but there's not another Derrick Henry. The Titans have no passing offense. Neither of their quarterbacks is really capable of keeping up with the majority of other quarterbacks in the league in the passing game. But their defense, Vrabes knows how to coach defense, man.
Vrabel, I think, is a great head coach.
Absolutely.
I think he gets the absolute most out of this roster.
Completely. Especially defensively. The offense, the offense is kind of hit or miss, but the defensive line, he has guys overperforming. Absolutely all the time.
I will say the offensive part, the personnel's a little bit of an issue.
Yeah,
it's hard to get much production.
Yeah, I agree.
Your best offensive player outside of Derrick Henry is a washed Robert Woods.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you know what?
Being completely fair about it.
It was weird seeing Chris Conley in this game. I'm not going to lie.
It was weird seeing Hassan Haskin return kicks. That's what was weird for me.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are you in this 230-pound power back who I know does not run anything faster than a 4.6? Fucking return kicks.
You know what? That's fine. He averaged 18 yards per return. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, no, that's not fine. You know what you would get more out of? If you didn't return the fucking kick.
That actually, thanks for bringing that up, because that was another thing that I wanted to talk about. We got Tony, right? So why was Pacheco returning kicks for us again?
Tony's more of a punt returner.
Okay, he didn't return a single punt. It was Mecole and Justin Watson.
I don't know what to tell you. He just got there this week, man.
Mecole was averaging 10.5 yards on returns. I know that's punt returns, but like still.
That's still pretty good. Like 10 and a half yards, that's not bad for punt returns.
I guess, yeah. I don't know.
It's not. Any little bit you can get on a punt return is good.
Yeah. I just expect better from us.
I expect better. God, you sound like a Patriots fan.
Oh God, no. I'm not that elitist. All right.
That elitist. Okay. Speaking about elite, let's go to the Monday night game. You know, Lamar Jackson is undefeated in Monday night games.
Hashtag pay Lamar and pay him now.
Pay Lamar. Lamar didn't have to do too much passing the ball.
Nope.
They kind of already took control of this game pretty quick. It was out of hand by the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
Kenyon Drake has to love playing with Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely.
Because he gets him so much fucking room to run.
Isaiah likely got another touchdown this week. That was nice to see. Mark Andrews still out. I don't know how long Mark Andrews is out for.
All right. Isaiah Likely's my rookie tight end. I guess I can victory lap.
Yeah.
My number one tight end out of this draft class.
100% credit to you for that, too, because I snagged him on waivers and literally, even our league, even our redraft league.
Yeah. Like, I was telling people, like, hey, last round of the draft, why not? Scoop him up. It's a position that doesn't have a whole lot of depth.
Yeah.
And it's paid off.
It definitely has. Ravens are leading this division.
The Ravens are leading this division, and their only competition's the Bengals, but we'll see. We'll see who ends up winning this race at the end.
Yeah. I still have the Ravens.
I think both teams are going to make it.
It's possible.
We'll see. It's going to be real fun to see how the AFC and NFC playoff race ends up dwindling down at the very end.
Well, the Ravens are suffering from, injuries again. Like, they have a very diminished receiving core again.
Oh, yeah, Bateman's done for the year, his foot injury.
And who knows how long Andrews is going to be out, yeah. So you have...
Andrews is at least practicing, so he should play at some point.
You have D-Rob and... a
washed Deshaun Jackson.
Washed Deshaun and likely a rookie, yeah.
Well, Devin Duvernay has actually not had a terrible season. This game is not very indicative of that, but he's a solid player.
Absolutely, I agree. He's had a pretty solid season, for sure.
Yeah. Saints are officially dead in the water.
Yeah, rest in piss to my pick, yeah.
I don't think they can string enough games together to even win their piss poor division at this point.
No chance.
Yeah, I think it's honestly going to be between Bucks and Falcons for that spot. Which is
just insane to say out loud. That's fucking insane.
Hey, Falcons aren't the worst team in the NFL, but I'm so happy we're talking about the Falcons now because that gives us our perfect segue into our picks for this upcoming week.
Oh, God, yeah. So,
all right.
Tonight, Falcons Panthers. Who do you got?
Give me the Panthers in an upset.
Really?
On Thursday night.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it at Carolina? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, I was listening to Pat McAfee show today, and they were talking about the weather reports for this game. And the weather reports are, this game is being played on grass. Okay, so that's the first thing to consider. The second thing to consider, it's been raining all day, and while they do have a cover on the field, when the guys start going and warming up, it's going to get wet. So probably by now it's wet. And last but not least, wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour. So this is going to be a heavy run game.
And is it like there's a quarterback in this game that can play in bad elements very well?
Yeah. And if you consider kicking and punting is going to be fucked, it's going to be I'm guessing the game is going to be the under. I don't think this is going to be a throwing game. I don't really see either quarterback having more than 200 yards, probably not even 150. I agree with you. I think the Panthers are going to win, but I take the Falcons to cover the spread. I think it's probably going to be a 2-point game, to
You
be honest.
you know the Falcons are favored in this game, right?
Really?
By 2.5.
Okay. Well, the Panthers probably cover. I'll take the Panthers as well. That's fine.
All right. Seahawks Buccaneers in Germany.
Yeah, the games that aren't played in the U.S. are always harder to predict. If there's one player that you can usually count on to be consistent in regardless of the conditions, it's Tom Brady. But I'm taking an upset here. I'm going to take the Seahawks. I don't know if they're the upset or not. I don't know what the spread is, but give me the Seahawks in this game.
You want this to be our bet of the week?
Dude, whatever you want, absolutely.
I'll take Tampa. I'll take Tampa in this game. I think the Bucks personally just match up really well against Seahawks offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Tampa.
The reason I'd take the Seahawks over Tampa is because the Bucks' run defense hasn't been as elite as it has been. They're still doing fine, but it hasn't been as elite as it has been. And having both Tyler Lockett and DK, I think the Seahawks can match up pretty well. Gino's a very accurate passer. I don't think he'll make mistakes with the ball. And the Bucks haven't really been able to run. So Tom Brady's going to be throwing a lot. Tariq Woolen's been playing really well. I think it's equally matched up pretty well on both sides. I just want to see the Seahawks win this one, so I'm going Seahawks.
All right. Vikings Bills. We'll have a chance at Case Keenum playing. Well, a strong chance. Probably Keenum.
Yeah. Give me the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm taking the Vikings too. They're a very complete team, and Kirk Cousins should still be able to have a decent enough game at 1:00 to pull it out.
Agreed.
Lions Bears.
It's always the 1:00 games, man. It's always the 1:00.
I know.
Lions Bears. Yeah. Yeah. Give me the Bears. The Lions.
Okay.
They're just not good. Their offense can put on a show, but without Hawk, Swift hasn't been playing super well. I love Jamal, but I don't see the Lions being productive enough to win this game. I feel like Fields is he's turned it up a notch. So, give me the Bears in this one.
There we go. I'm right there with you. I'm also taking Chicago. I don't think they're going to be able to contain Justin Fields running the ball.
No shot.
And they don't have a corner talented enough to stick with Claypool.
Exactly.
Especially if they go in the red zone.
Yeah.
Jaguars Chiefs.
This one probably shouldn't be a surprise. I'm taking Kansas City. The Jaguars' defense is fine, but they've been getting exposed just because the offense can't produce.
I wouldn't say exactly that. I think the offense can produce. I think they just stall in the red zone.
Yeah.
I think they're in between the 20s. They can move the ball all day.
I think ETN's going to have a really good game. I don't know what the spread is on this, but
9.5.
9.5.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Chiefs win this game, but I do think Jacksonville can cover the spread.
I was going to say I think it could be a 8-point game, 7-point game. So that's fair. But yeah, Kansas City wins this one.
But I will say this one could be an upset alert for Sunday. Just because I get it, matchups make a lot of these games.
Yeah.
But the Jags are a better team than the Titans, even though the record doesn't say it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I could definitely see them hanging with the Chiefs and this being a real close, grudgy game that comes down to the last possession.
Yeah, I think they're going to have really, really good... If there's one way to frustrate the Chiefs a lot, it's time of possession. And if there's one thing that the Jaguars are going to do really well for the rest of the season, barring that he stays healthy, and again, I'm knocking on wood because we never want to see anyone get injured, Travis Etienne should be nuts.
Oh, dude, I love me some Travis Etienne.
Same.
He's a great running back. I think next season he's a real threat to lead the league in rushing.
Agreed, completely. Yeah, definitely.
Browns Dolphins.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a surprise for me. Give me the Fins. I'm just a big fan of the Dolphins. Big fan of Tua, accurate passer. Browns defense has been really off or really on. They're not playing at home. Miami's been playing really, really well. They're on a hot streak. Seeing this chance to seize the control of the division, they'll probably take it. Give me Miami.
Yeah, I'm taking Miami too in that one. Houston, New York Giants. And it will be in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Yeah, give me the Giants. I'm not. The Texans have shown some promise. I don't know if Brandon Cooks is going to play this one. I don't know if he's going to play for the rest of the season. I don't really know if it makes a difference. I think the Giants are just going to continue to do what they do well and play conservatively to not fuck up. Rely on the defense to play well. Was it one of the Giants' corners I saw, though, that broke his hand on their bye week?
Safety. That's Bernard McKinney, their safety.
Yeah.
He's going to be out for this game. He's going to be out for a couple weeks. This is actually my upset pick of the week. I think the Texans are actually going to win this game.
Really?
Because of how bad the Giants are not good against them.
Okay.
And that is essentially the strength of this Texans team. They could easily suffocate the Giants. They could easily suffocate the Giants' offense with their defense and how they've been playing.
Yeah.
And make this a low enough scoring game to where Dameon Pierce can be enough of an edge to win.
That'll be interesting to watch. I'll have that game open by itself so I can watch it. But yeah, I think the Giants will be fine, to be honest with you. The Giants are really good at close games, and I think this is going to be a big run out the clock situation for both teams. I think they're going to both lean heavily on the run game. And I think that the tandem of Daniel Jones and Saquon is going to be a lot better than just Pierce on his own. Well, maybe not a lot better because Pierce is great, but yeah, I think the Giants will do enough to get it done.
All right, Saints Steelers.
Man, this game breaks my heart.
It's at Pittsburgh. If that helps.
It doesn't. I don't know if being either place will work. Man, I as much as it pains me, both teams are banged up in different ways. I think I have to go with the Steelers for this game. Actually,
I'm right there with you, Pittsburgh.
I think this is the week Trevor Penning comes back, I'm pretty sure, but I don't think that matters, honestly. Still give me
cool.
Pittsburgh.
He's going to come back and play against TJ Watt.
Yeah, that's God.
Do you even want him to come back and play against TJ Watt? It'll be a constant holding penalties.
I don't. I want this season to be over for the Saints. I just want it to be done.
Yeah, they have not been playing.
No, it's been extremely depressing. Kamara's been pretty good. Last week he was a little quiet, but yeah.
Okay, well, next game, Broncos, Titans.
Give me the Titans. I think Greg Dulcich is going to have a great week this week, but other than that, I don't really like anything that the Broncos are doing right now. I know that the Broncos won last week, but I just don't. It's not any pattern of consistency. I don't think the Broncos' offense is good by any means. They lean too heavily on their defense, and if there's any running game that's going to find a way to break you, it's Derrick Henry alone.
I will say, their defense has been pretty good this year for Denver.
Oh, absolutely, no question. But the point is, if you put too much weight on any structure, it'll collapse.
Yeah, I'm also going to take Denver in this game just because of the matchup problems.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be able. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to cover either of the wide receivers for Denver. And like you said, Russell Wilson's still a little bit more mobile. We saw them get exposed against Patrick Mahomes rushing the ball and scrambling in the last game, and I think we're going to see a little bit of that again. I think Denver may be starting to hit their stride in the season. It's too late.
Yeah.
Too little, too late. But I think they are starting to show signs of improvement.
Interesting. I'm saying Titans, though. I also think Tannehill comes back this game, and I think, although Malik Willis will be better, I think Tannehill's better than Willis is right now. So.
Oh yeah,
No.
but also they don't stand a chance throwing the ball.
No.
The Broncos secondary is too good. Their pass rush is too good.
Agreed.
And as if Derrick Henry gets contained, I don't think they're going to be able to score.
I also agree with that.
And once your offense is so one-dimensional, you're already pigeonholed. You're already in a bad spot.
Yeah. I'm still taking the Titans, though. I will not be swayed on this one. I've made my
That's
peace.
okay. I'm not trying to sway you. So another matchup of terrible teams: Colts Raiders.
Oh God, is this one being played in Vegas?
Yep, in Las Vegas.
Man, this is a tough one for me personally. I think the Raiders are really at a falling apart threshold. I know. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if it's probably an upset. Give me the Colts in this game. Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah, give me Indianapolis too. I think Jeff Saturday is going to at least give them a little bit of a push of life. Yeah. And this Raiders team, like you said, it's falling apart. It's bad. Hunter Renfro's on IR. Darren Waller is on IR.
Oh, I honestly forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah, the only real member of the passing game that's still left is Devontae Adams. Mm-hmm. And Josh Jacobs. I don't believe in Derek Carr.
No.
I do think the Colts are going to win this game, especially since Jonathan Taylor should be coming back in full strength for this game.
Hopefully, yeah. You never know. Things happen, but hopefully.
All right, Green Bay, Dallas in Green Bay. It's okay. You can take Dallas. Okay. Dallas is the obvious choice.
Yeah, buddy, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have to take the Cowboys. As much as I dislike the Cowboys, I dislike what the Packers are doing. I dislike what Aaron Rodgers is doing.
I am going to take Green Bay in this game.
Okay.
Just because there's one matchup deficiency. When we do run the ball, we do it pretty efficiently and well.
That I agree.
Dallas, that is the chink in their defense. That's the problem.
That I completely agree with you on. And that was kind of my point. I was listening to something today about how they shift Micah Parsons around and how they best utilize him. And I think it was 25% of the time this year he's been lined up as a linebacker. But the way that you can kind of manipulate this Cowboys defense is different run schemes.
Because no defense is running more defensive line stunts and having players do these like different style of games.
Yes.
And than Dallas. They are running it more than 20% more than other teams.
Yes, exactly. Literally, exactly. So Dan Quinn is not stupid by any means. Obviously, you know that the Packers are really banged up at receiver. The only reason that I'm still going with Dallas is just because their offense is prone to be more productive than the Packers' offense has been this year. I think Zeke will probably be back and healthy this week, and even if he's not, Tony Pollard's been a stud when Zeke's out this year.
I mean, they're honestly better off with no Zeke in this game.
I agree with you, but I don't know.
Force Tony Pollard to get touches.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'm at with this game. Let's see.
I think your secondary is going to match up really well against their receivers, but
we'll see. There is no Stokes for this game playing on the outside.
I'm just not. I understand a lot of people are, but I'm just not very high on CD. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I think he's all right.
Do you think he's a top 10 receiver?
He's a high-end number 2 wide receiver.
Okay, so
he's not
so like 15 to 20 range.
I wouldn't even say that. I would say he's like a top 25 wide receiver. He's like 20s.
Yeah, everybody trying to argue that he's like a top 10 or whatever. I'm like, bro, no. No. Show me any pattern of consistency. They're like, oh, well, get an Odell to the lineup. I'm like, no, you do not. That's not the type.
If you need a free agent off the street in your lineup for your wide receiver 1 to play well, he's not a wide receiver 1.
Thank you. Exactly. At Cowboys fans. Real.
All right. Cardinals, Rams. Who you taking? In LA. I'm taking the Cardinals.
I'm also taking the Cardinals. Did you know Stafford had a concussion?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Without Stafford, there's no chance the Rams are winning this game. So give me the Cardinals. The Rams defense hasn't been playing well, and even with Cliff calling plays, Kyler is too dynamic to stop.
Kyler's still a top 10 quarterback.
Yes. Even
with Cliff's terrible play calling.
Yes.
I am also very happy they flexed this game in the prime time, because I think this is going to be a fun one. Chargers, 49ers is going to be very fun.
Give me the Niners, though. No question, in my opinion.
Oh, give me the 49ers as well. You know, the Chargers are currently 7-point dogs. Am I reading this?
That's a lot.
It's in Santa Clara, but that doesn't make much of a difference.
You know Jason Verrett tore his ACL today, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Jason Verrett.
I always thought it was Verrett, but yeah. I think this is going to be a Christian McCaffrey Christmas special, coming a little early. This is, I think he is going to be the offense here. I can't see the Niners playing like pass heavy here. Debo's still out, right? I think at least one more week.
No, Debo I think should be playing this game.
Let's see. He is back to practice on Wednesday as a full participant. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so he should be back for this game.
I still think the Niners just dog this game.
Yeah, I just don't. I think they're so good as a whole. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to stop this team. It really just sucks that they lost Emmanuel Mosley.
I thought you were going to say Trey Lance. I was like, yeah.
That too, but more recently.
Yeah.
Okay, final game of the week, brother. Commanders, Eagles.
Oh, shit. This is a really difficult one. Probably going to stick with the undefeated streak of the Eagles.
Yeah, going to 9-0. The Dolphins are getting those old Dolphin players getting nervous.
Yeah. Dude. Why is this our primetime game? Like, actually.
For Monday night?
Yeah, I don't understand why.
It's a division game. It's an NFC East divisional games always get primetime slots. I don't know why. It's probably because of the coastal bias that we see a lot in the NFL.
Yeah, they should have swapped it out for like a Eagles-Cowboys game or some shit. I don't know.
That's the one thing. Also, ESPN games can't really get flexed. Yeah. It's just part of their media contract.
I don't want to watch the Commanders play.
I'm okay with it. I'm fine with watching their defensive line be tangents.
The defensive line, yeah, but the rest of the team's just a fucking mess. Just show me Scary Terry getting the ball every series, and I'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, brother, it looks like we ran through this week's episode with enough time before the Thursday night game.
Just barely, yeah. The game's coming on in 5 minutes, guys. I'm definitely not gonna have this uploaded in time. I'm sorry, but it is 7:56 p.m. Just turned.
We have 20 minutes. Doesn't start until 8:15. Still not enough time.
Yeah, it takes like at least a half hour, and then by the time they're done processing the HD and SD versions, it'll be like 8:30 at least. Yeah.
But hey, we did it, and thank you to everyone for tuning in for this edition of Pitch Pass Podcast. We'll be back later on this weekend for our mid-season reports, see how our teams are doing so far.
Yes.
And thank you. Leave a like and subscribe. Have a great night. Peace out.
Have a great night. Stay safe, stay happy, healthy, warm, all of the above, and enjoy some good football. Peace out.
Exactly.